Hello guys, today we are analyzing the next auction. So you can see again, we are 18th of November, 10:40 a.m. So this is a forecast. Again, this is almost cold analysis, browsing the sales that are gonna be done tonight at Sotheby's, 18th of November in New York at 7 p.m. New York time. And let's browse these sales and see what's going to happen. So I've been going a little bit through market analysis, and let's go quickly through some of the artworks that will be auctioned. So the first one, Raymond Petitbon, beautiful iconic waves work, estimated 1 to 1.5 million. For the similar works in the past, the record is 2.8 million. Now we're in November, this is not May, but the market is very tricky, meaning that we don't know what's going to happen. The economy is shaking worldwide. This specific work is huge, 2 meter by almost 2 meter, 2002. This is like more than 20 years old. And this was acquired directly from the artist by the present owner, and it was published, and this is a really beautiful one. In my opinion, it will not reach the auction record, although it might surpass the high estimate. Somebody could pay for this specific one in the momentum, maybe $2 million. This is the first artwork of the sale. We will see what happens. Again, I'm not quite sure of my estimates. I don't have all the info. As you can know, next one, Henry Taylor, before Gerhard Richter. So Henry Taylor had a show a year ago at the opening of the Hauser and Wirth gallery in Paris. Not everything was sold, but this one is really specific because this one reminds of a painting. It's really like a tribute to a painting. No, it's a photograph painting by Gerhard Richter of the same image. So this is like very vibrant, and estimation it's 800 to 1.2. Previously, a painting by Henry Taylor, which was depicting a version of Demoiselle d'Avignon by Pablo Picasso, reached 2 million. In the current market of things, I think this work could reach this high estimate, maybe 1.5, maybe actually much more, because Richter is enjoying a solo show at Louis Vuitton Foundation, which is absolutely groundbreaking. And here the work provenance, again acquired by the present owner from the artist directly. It was exhibited at the Los Angeles, the Museum of Contemporary Art, and Whitney Museum. So this work has exceptional provenance literature. It was spoken about and published everywhere. It might even fetch 2 million. The size is impressive, 2 million, 1.6. Imagine this incredible artwork in your house. This is like really beautiful one. Next, Antonio Oba, 100 to 150. Antonio Oba has some works has been auctioned in the past, and the record was 180,000. But this one specifically is so dramatic, is so incredible. This dynamic line from left to the right, all these birds. And it's really like depicting human condition. The treatment of the fields really reminds of Peter Doig. It's so expressive. And it's a very large painting, again, executed in 2020, coming from Mendes Wood, iconic gallery from Brazil, which has outposts in Belgium, in Paris, in New York, Sao Paulo. Very dynamic gallery, and it was exhibited in several museums. Literature is very complex and very complete. I think this work could reach 200,000-300,000, maybe even beyond. In the current market, it's so dramatic. It really depicts like the state of things today. Next one, Cecily Brown, iconic, incredible, huge work, $4 to $6 million estimate. And again, look at the size. It's really, really, really huge. Provenance date project. And it was auctioned before. And similar work already fetched 5.5 million. I think this one could be somewhere between 4 and 5. I'm not quite sure it's gonna go beyond, although the quality of this painting is absolutely incredible. It really reminds almost of De Kooning. So vibrant. There is so much happening in here. And let's go further. Yunishimura. I think this one is absolute gem. This one, the artist joined the gallery David Zwirner earlier this year, and it's also represented by Crèvecoeur Gallery in Paris. Estimate is 80 to 120. So at auctions earlier, a beautiful painting reached 320. But this one is so great. It reminds of Peter Duick. It reminds of so many things. It's so beautiful, iconic, and it's also huge. 2.60 meters by 180, executed in 2020. Here, Crèvecoeur Provenance. It's been for 5 years in one collection, and I think the person who bought it had a really good eye. I would have bought it. And I think this one, if the room is hot, if Cecily Brown performs well, it's really depending on the temperature in the room, how the auctioneer leads, and the momentum. But if I was an investor, somebody who is really interested in human figure, I mean, this artwork could really reach double high estimate. I would say 300-400, and it still would be almost a steal, because this artwork in future could generate much more. Next, iconic Kerry James Marshall. This artist is really enjoying a huge momentum on the market, and the estimate is really very generous, like 10 to 15 million. Kerry James Marshall commands incredible prices, 18.5 million, previously 16 million, but the works that reached these heights were much more contrasted. These were families, these were like everyday scenes. This one is very specific. It has this beautiful, loving couple having a sight on the sunset. And what is really strange is that as I analyze artworks, how do we read the construction? This is going like from right to the left. It's really very strange, because it's almost as if the couple was looking a little bit in the past. It has very nostalgic flair, very nostalgic like mood. It's huge. It's 3 meters per 2008. It comes from Jack Shaiman, and acquired by Philippe Segalot, a very famous French art dealer, advisor to Pinot and other iconic collectors. And I think like maybe it could reach 11-12 million. I'm not quite sure it's gonna go beyond 15, because it's not really representative of Kerry James Marshall, although it's absolutely an absolute gem. Now Peter Duick, at some point he was really the star of the auction with his winter and skiers landscapes, and he's a really iconic painter. So let's analyze this. Ski jacket, 1 to 1.5 million. What we really have to notice, this is a little artwork. It's a pure gem, it's 46 by 50, executed in 93. So this work has been auctioned previously, and the large paintings reach 16 million, or even 3 times this one. A very similar one of the size, same year, in like last year, 2024, reached 1 million. This one was sold in 2014 also for 1 million. Considering the market, if there is a momentum, I think this work could reach its high estimate, very possibly. I don't know if it's gonna go much more beyond, but the fact that it's a small size, it's very easy to place, it's super recognizable, it's a very dynamic composition, it's a beautiful artwork to have in one's collection when you're interested in painting. Look at all these characters dancing. It's almost like a Monet composition, very much similar to that. So I would say this work is probably worth 1.5, probably 2, but it really depends on what's going to happen next. Iconic Blossoms by Damien Hirst, a diptych. So Damien Hirst is a very tricky market. There were thousands of works auctioned, and in 2022, a diptych of the similar size reached $4.5 million. This one is estimated 2.5, 3.5. Although Damien Hirst really represents a little bit the how could I say it? Damien Hirst is really representing what's happening on the financial markets. And if we remember well, at Sotheby's, he did a huge sale of his artworks directly from the studio just the day before Lehman Brothers collapsed. And if we think of the world economy, that it might collapse maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 1 year time, Damien Hirst market is really like predicting a little bit, forecasting what's gonna happen. So here it's very big, more than 3 meter and almost 3 meter. Also in white, executed in 2018. It was acquired directly from the artist by the present owner. And I would say this artwork might even not reach the low estimate, although it's very beautiful, very vibrant composition, but we're not very sure where it's all going, although it's an exceptional work by its size. There are very few on the market of this sort. Now, the icon, Maurizio Catalan. So the same artist who sold the banana for more than $6 million recently at auction. So let's put it all into perspective. Maurizio Catalan is producing an enormous amount of works pushed by Larry Gagosian at every fair. And this golden toilet, so this is an edition of 3+2. That means there is one at the Guggenheim. Hundreds of thousands of people saw it. There was a second one that was shown at the Blenheim Palace, and then it was stolen almost immediately in UK, and we never recovered it. We don't know where it is. And what is interesting is that this is 101.2 kilo of 18 karat gold. When we see the price of the gold, actually Sotheby's, if we see down here, is generous enough to show us today's value of gold. So the starting price will be probably 10 million just at the value of the gold. This is where it's going. But also there is a very interesting factor here, is that they accept cryptocurrencies. Justin Sun, the crypto king from Tron platform who acquired the banana, actually bought the banana. It's not only for having the artwork. Imagine if you pay $6 million for a huge crypto platform, you make an advertising campaign of your projects worldwide. I was not very familiar with Justin Sun, but everybody all of a sudden knows who he is. So for a worldwide campaign for $6 million for an iconic artwork, actually whatever you pay for that, you're already winning because you become an icon. And this artwork really represents, I mean, the sarcasm of society today, Duchampian approach of ready-made, and also what is the value of things, how we value. But also this is like a vanity. Everybody shits in the same way, you know. So I think this work, I mean, depending on the momentum, depending on what's happening in the room, and depending who the specialists reach out worldwide, this artwork could end up in any major museum on the planet. It could go to Louvre Abu Dhabi, it could go to Qatar, it could go to Saudi Arabia, and or even in the Far East, Macau or something like that. People will travel around the world just to see it. It's almost as iconic as Mona Lisa. So if they start at 10 million, this artwork could reach 20, 30, 40, 50 million. And the higher it will go, the more it will represent the shaky moment of the world economy right now. I'm very curious to see, but this work could just go to the stratosphere and become another market icon. Let's see tonight what's going to happen. Caddy Noland, conceptual artwork, 600 to 800,000. This work is absolutely beautiful, and we probably see his works in major collections around the world. I think this one could fit somewhere between 600 and 800,000, but I'm not quite sure it's gonna go much more beyond. Jess, I'm not familiar with the artist. 120 to 180,000. This work, although I don't know the artist, when we watch it, it's so beautifully executed, and oil on canvas, mounted on panel. It's beautiful size, 67 by 57 centimeters. It was executed in 66. So if we watch it well, it's really like almost a picture of the Christ, and at the same time we see these dramatic brush strokes. It reminds us of Edward Munch. It reminds of so many artists, and because it's from 66, this work actually could reach maybe 200,000-300,000. Next, Andy Warhol, the American Indian. So let's look at that. The similar images by Andy Warhol, as beautiful as this one, fetched so far $5 million, $2 million, $2 million. This one is estimated to 2 to 3. Although this is not a Marilyn, this is not an Elvis, this is not a Jackie Kennedy, it really represents so much of the American history, and also the state of the colonization is so pop. Look at these absolutely amazing brush strokes on this silk screen. This green and this red, they are so vibrant. There is so much into this. Now back to the estimate, $2 to $3 million. I think the Mugrabi family, who is really sitting on a huge amount of artworks, will be defending his market. We could reach the $3 million, but I'm not quite sure it's gonna go beyond, considering it's not one of the most desirable ones by Andy Warhol, although it's beautiful to have it in the collection. But again, it's not a Mao, it's not a Marlin, and again, the indication of the sale of this artwork will really give us the temperature before Art Basel Miami, where the state of the market is. Now, Philip Guston, next one, $2 to $3 million. A very controversial artwork because it's depicting a Ku Klux Klan member, we remember that there is a huge controversy about these works. One of the shows in the museum was cancelled because of the controversy of its subject matter. Similar artwork, similar subject with Ku Klux Klan fetched so far 6.5, 6, 5.6 million, 2.5 million, 2.1 million. And now this work came from the estate of the artist Musa Mayer, New York. Mackey Gallery. It was acquired by the present owner in 2015. It's been for 10 years in the same collection. Was exhibited in many places. Literature is not so abundant, but I think the size also 77 by 99. It's a very beautiful size to have in a living room. It's transportable. It really represents much of what's happening in today's world, the tension between communities. My opinion, humble opinion, would be that this work could reach its high estimate, but I'm not quite sure it's gonna fly much further. Barnett Newman now. This is a beautiful little work, brush and ink on paper. It's very tiny. It's 27 by 11 centimeters. And it was last sold by Pace Wildenstein Gallery and acquired in 95. So it's been for 20 years in the same collection. And most of the artworks on paper by Barnett Newman of the similar composition went for way less. Unless somebody is really willing to complete their collection, I'm not quite sure this work is going to go a lot beyond its low estimate. I even wonder if it's going to sell at all, because although it's very vibrant, it's very dynamic, you have to be really willing to spend so much money on such a little tiny piece. Now, Lucio Fontana, this artwork was sold in 2013 for $1.5 million, and it's very iconic from the late 50s. It's relatively big, 100 by 80 centimeters. Its estimate is $2 to $3 million. Although people are more looking today into monochromes, especially red ones, very similar artworks with free cuts, for instance, are commanding similar prices. And I think this one could reach somewhere between 2 and 3, but I don't think it's going to go way beyond $3 million. Again, I'm not predicting, I'm just seeing and trying to forecast what is going to happen in the current things of current state of things. Now, Yves Klein, iconic sponge sculpture, blue Klein color, typical, estimated at 14 to 18 million. So Yves Klein, a similar sculpture from the same series, similar year, reached already 19. Okay, so this is a artwork for somebody who has a museum and who wants to complete the collection. It's relatively high. It's like 140 centimeters almost height. It was executed in 59, and it was in the same collection, as we can see, for many years. So the provenance is absolutely exceptional. Literature is abundant. Now, are the museums or private collectors willing to spend so much money on this? Although it's a rarity, it's very tough to predict. My estimate, considering the results from Christie's last night, where they fetched already like 700 million in sales, but not all of the lots are reaching its high estimate, I would say this work could go maybe somewhere for 15, 16 million, but I would be surprised it would go beyond Again, because the economy is so shaky, people are not gonna splash that much. It's not an artwork that somebody would travel across the planet to see, compared to Catalan toilet, for instance. Now next, Frank Stella. This specific work was sold in 2014 for $3.4 million. Okay, now the estimate is 5.7 after 10 years. A similar artwork, concentric squares, are reaching $5 million sometimes. But Frank Stella, even the fact that he passed away recently, his market really didn't jump up. Although it's a beautiful artwork, 160 by 160, beautiful size, beautiful to have in a big house. It's very, very hard to say what's going to happen. It was exhibited only once in a museum, according to the records. I think this work could fetch 5 million, but it's not going to go way beyond. My guess, like, it will be somewhere around the lower estimate, between 4.5, maybe 6 maximum, but it's not going to reach the 7 million mark. Next one, Berkeley Hendricks. Absolutely iconic artwork. This is a unique artwork by the artist. The maximum price fetched by the artist so far at auction was 7 million. Now it's 9 to 12 million. This is a unique artwork. There is so much in this one. This is from 73. It's huge in size for the artist, like 260 by 180. It was acquired by the present owner in 2009, so it's been 16 years in the same collection. It's been exhibited in several museums. Literature is relatively abundant, but this work is so much about American culture. You see this like lollipop banana looking like inflatable toy. We have these balloons, this lightness, the Coca-Cola, the Afro-American culture. Also the character is having this Rolling Stones looking like lips with the tongue, which corresponds really with this licking this toy. And it's really hard to say what's going to happen, but this work could reach maybe 7, maybe 8 million. Not quite sure it's going to go beyond 12. Let's see what's going to happen. Now, Keith Haring, iconic work on paper, Mickey Mouse. Look at this dynamic from bottom left to top right. So much hope, so much electricity in this part. Look at that. It's vibrant. He's having these psychedelic eyes. It's estimated from 800 to 1.2. So let's see. It's huge. It's more than 2 meters in wide and 1 meter 80 height. Executed in 82. Provenance, estate of the artist, Tony Shafrazi, etc. It was previously auctioned, and this has been in the same collection for almost 10 years. It's very well documented, so the provenance is exceptional. Let's say his artworks that are A3 format horizontal are selling on the primary market when it's coming from the estate of the gallery. They sold at $500,000. This artwork, I think, if an American collector really goes for it, because it's very American, this Mickey Mouse character, I think this work could fetch the double high estimate. That would be a reasonable price to pay for that. Jean-Michel Basquiat, I mean, no words. Estimation 35 million, 45 million. This is an artwork that is huge. It's 2 meter 40 by 190. The provenance is beautiful. Annie Noisy Gallery, Jeffrey Deitch, etc. And then it was in the same collection for 10 years. Let's see this painting. It's absolutely absolutely incredible. We have everything we want from Jean-Michel Basquiat. The crowns here, the crowns, the ghostly characters, and here the letters, iconic letters, black and white, blue and yellow, yellow and pink, yellow and blue, blue and red, orange. I wish I saw this in real. This is so dynamic. It's signed Jean-Michel right here. Peso neto, iconic wording. It's very hard to say how much this artwork is gonna sell for, but if somebody wants to have it, I mean, we're gonna be somewhere around the high estimate, maybe more, again, depending on the momentum. Beautiful artwork, very vibrant, very, very, very dynamic. Again, as I'm not an expert, it's really, really hard to say how much it's gonna command. Now, Noah Davis. Let's see, Noah Davis. So this artist is fetching sometimes huge prices. Now it's estimated 1 to 1.5, and his prices are sometimes much higher now. 150 by 150, 2008. It's been in the same collection for more than 12 years. This is really, really, really an iconic and beautiful, beautiful artwork. And I think this one could reach its high estimate just because of this composition. It makes me think of Edgar Degas, the dancers, the ballerinas, and we really have to see. I don't know very much about this, his career and his artworks. Now, Simone Lake, she had a solo presentation at the American Pavilion at Venice Biennale. This artwork is estimated $700 to $1 million, executed in 21. It's always edition, 3+2. Her iconic artworks reach so far 4.7, 2.5, 2.2, and but this composition is so specific. I really love this dynamic. It's almost like a design object. It's a portrait. It's almost abstract with the circle, and we have these circular pedestal, her shoulder. I think it's really, really, really beautiful. And considering her prices, I think this one could fetch a little bit over its million high estimate, but I don't think it's gonna go until like 3-4 million, but reasonably one can pay for this one 1.5 up to $2 million. I found my notes, so back quickly to Noah Davis. So the artist record was 1.2 million, and then it was 780. Again, I think for this work it's reasonable to pay somewhere between the low and high estimate, but going way beyond, I'm not quite sure, unless somebody has a coup de coeur. Mark Tansey now, for some similar artworks, has been sold for 6.5 million, 3 million as well. This composition is really iconic. I mean, we see Tarzan and Cheetah. Nature's Ape, it's called, estimated $4 to $6 million. It's a huge size, normal for Mark Tansey, almost 2 meter by 1 meter 70, executed in 84, and went through Bergwijn Gallery, Levi Gorvy, and was exhibited once in a museum. And this is so beautiful. I mean, it really represents everything about the human evolution in society today. So although his prices were the maximum at 6.5, I'm not quite sure in the current state of things this would reach $6 million. I think it's reasonable to pay somewhere between 3.5 and 4.5 million, but I wouldn't say beyond. Let's see what the auction says. Roy Lichtenstein. I'm not a big expert of Roy Lichtenstein, although we can see now the artist, if we see the auctions, is really having a momentum. His works are so iconic. This is 1.5 to 2 million. And so this is a printed paper, graphite on board. So it's a paper work. It's not a painting. It's relatively large, 150 and 90 from 95. We've been seeing on social media recently Jeff Koons speaking about how Roy Lichtenstein influenced his art and how Jeff Koons thinks his legacy is so important. Although the artist created a lot of works, this one is really beautiful. Sotheby is, called one of the most famous artists in the world to confirm its legacy. They're trying hard to market it. I'm not quite sure where it's going to go. I have absolutely no idea. I wouldn't even try to guess, but I think it's gonna sell, but I don't think this one is gonna go way more beyond 2 million. Now we have something else by Roy Lichtenstein, an iconic composition. We have triangles, circles, like we used to see by him a lot. So this is a large artwork, 2.17 meters wide, and the provenance is absolutely incredible, state of the artist, and thence by descended to the present owner. It was exhibited a lot. The literature is abundant, but again, I'm not a big expert. I can't really say how much it's gonna sell for. The estimate is very generous, but I'm not quite sure it's gonna go way beyond 4.5. Roy Lichtenstein, next one. So this is an absolutely beautiful work on paper. Let's see the size first. So the image is 23 by 61. So it's really tiny, estimate 1 to 1.5. But look how much information we're having here. We're having inside this painting so many paintings that Roy did. Roy did interiors, we have one interior here. Roy did this kind of composition, a portrait, we have one inside. The lamp, he did sculptures of these lamps. Again, it's almost like interior of his collection of artworks. There is so much art history in this. Look at this beautiful execution. So many artworks by Roy Lichtenstein in this little Lichtenstein artwork. I think this specific one, let's see the provenance now quickly, is the same collection as the previous one. This work actually could fetch 2 million easily because it's so beautiful, so complex, and so recognizable in this iconic form right here. Somebody trying to see through the curtain. It's a beautiful composition. If you buy this work and you want to keep it, it's reasonable to pay 2 million for 2 million, yeah, 2 million and even a little more for that one. Another iconic work by Roy Lichtenstein, sculpture. All those sculptures are less, as we know, valuable on the market because very difficult to sell. This is something really large, same collection. I think it's worth its estimate. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna go way beyond, but look at this explosion and beautiful composition. Very pop, very punchy. Next we have Donald Judd. So the stacks, 10 stacks, red stacks, estimated 3.5, 4.5 million dollars. So I know a collector who paid for a blue one. I work for them. They paid $8 million. Larry Gagosian is having a huge stock of these. So the stacks of different colors reached so far 9 million, 8.7, 7 million, 7 million, 6 million, etc. Decreasing in different colors. But this is so vibrant. This red is so iconic. Look at this dynamic It's all like stretching, almost like as a bar, as if a bar, metallic bar, was like broken and stretched vertically. And provenance Paula Cooper, acquired by the present owner in the 90s. So it's been for 35 years in the same collection. Difficult to say. This is a museum artwork, quality artwork. This can go to any private museum, any big collector. If you're passionate about minimal art, this is a must-have. So if there is a momentum, could go beyond 4.5, but it's not quite sure. Let's see how it goes. Now Rashid Johnson, the star of the Afro-American community. This artwork is estimated at 1 million, 1.5. It's large. It's 3 meters by 230, executed in 2020. Coming from Hauser and Werf, of course. And Rashid Johnson, similar works went previously for 2.4, 2.2, 2.1, and decreasing. He enjoyed a beautiful retrospective in May at the Guggenheim Museum in New York. These works are really iconic from the artist, although I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen, because the market again is so unpredictable right now. If there is a momentum, somebody could pay way over that. I mean, reaching maybe 2 million, maybe 2.5. Let's see. I have no real predictions, but it can go a little beyond. Now, Frank Stella, again, despite the fact his works are iconic, this one in particular, the problem is that this is a very dark composition, and in this kind of composition, people pay up to maybe $1.5 million, similar size for Sean Scully. And I think in this specific case, I would even say that this work, like let's say $4 to $6 million provenance, Knoedler, and from 82 it was owned by the same person, 35 years in the same collection. It was exhibited in many places. Literature is not so abundant, but the thing is, this work is really sad. It's very intellectual, and it's really hard to say, but I would say this could actually go unsold, because it's very sad. It's although it's iconic, it's very like dramatic. Maurice Lewis, iconic artwork by the artist, 1 to 1.5 million, executed in 58, very large. Again, the provenance is exceptional. It's been in the same collection for 45 years. The estimate is reasonable, but again, this artwork is really for people who really like art from that period. It's not for somebody who made their money in the crypto market. It's not for a young collector. This is for collectors who like really art from this period, color field painting, and it's really hard to say how much it's gonna sell for, if it's gonna sell at all, actually. But let's see. Ad Reinhardt, I don't know very well the market, so I wouldn't say anything about it. I didn't see it in real, and it's very difficult to judge on pictures. But again, we're getting closer to the end of the auction, and as you can see, the works going from iconic works, vibrant colors, to darker, and depending on the momentum on the room, anything could actually happen. We have Mark Tansey. We had a previous work by him, and now we have another one. So this one is really beautiful because it really reminds the Draft of Medusa by Theodore Géricault. The composition is very similar. It's dramatic. It's going from left to the right. There is so much hope when we read it, from left to the right. People marching on the water. There's so much iconography involved. Christianity, person walking on the water, uncertain future, but at the same time they're on a little boat. Actually, this painting again, it really represents very much the current things of the human condition, so much uncertainty, and this person trying to reach to the beyond. We don't really know where he's going. Let's see, 2.5, 3.5. This artwork is really iconic. I mean, if you're a big collector, you should have it in your collection because it's so historical. It's from 84. I have no predictions for this, but it could reach somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 right now. Roy Lichtenstein, monumental artwork. Again, as I said, I'm not an expert. As you can see, this is a public artwork. So this could go, a city could buy it, a major museum could buy it. This is not for private collectors, I think. It costs so much to install. I have absolutely no idea, but it's very hard to say whether it's going to reach its high estimated of 6 million or not. Again, beautiful little Roy Lichtenstein on paper. But it's very, very tiny, 11 by 14. And it's same provenance apparently, as we can see, as the previous ones, 800 to 1.2. I mean, we saw a very iconic interior with many images happening in there. For somewhere similar, I would say that 800 to 1.2 is really a lot, although it's a very nostalgic composition, because here we read from right to the left. She's thinking in the past, the music going through the window. She's thinking of her past or some past events. I'm not quite sure where it's going to go, but when we compare to the estimate of this one, I think if one had to choose between 1 million, 1.5 for this one, and 800 at 1.2, I would go for the previous one. Next ones, I'm not gonna go very long about this because again, I don't know that much about Roy Lichtenstein's market. Let's see if these ones reach 4 to 6 million. Not very sure. Reminds me a bit of Fernand Léger. And this one is so beautiful. And let's see the size of it. 2 meter by 1.6, but it's very hard to say because it's almost an abstract composition. It's like a flowers. It's not as iconic as if it was a portrait, so it's really, really hard to say. And as you can see, proportionally, this is a large painting, and for half of the, like for the third of a price, little drawings can command similar, prices. So this one is like 2 and 3, and that's like a third of it. Matthew Wong was a very young Canadian artist who passed away very, very early in his life. He enjoyed a huge success on the market. It's really hard to say what's going to happen because some of his works reached like way higher than results than this one. And but the size is beautiful. It's 100 by 72. It's from 17. I would say this work could sell somewhere between 1.2 and 1.8, not much more beyond. And we're getting closer to the sale, almost done. Jeff Koons Hulk series. So at Frieze, New York last year, Gagosian Gallery was selling a series of these sculptures, and the asking price was $3.5 million. And this is really beautiful because this tension between this rock, almost like Atalant, this little guy, this Hulk is holding almost the planet, a meteorite, and it's might be really representing where we're all going. We're all being almost absorbed and smashed by the current state of things. And This is an addition of 3 plus 1, and I think this work could sell. If they were selling for 3.5, maybe with a discount, I think this work could sell for its high estimate somewhere. And we're almost finishing. Wayne Thiebaud, beautiful painting, although not as iconic as his pastries paintings. This American cheerleader dancer, so beautifully executed. Look at all these feathers moving. Look at these movements of the brushes, so many different colors. Her face and jewelry so beautifully executed, typical to Wayne Thiebaud. It's very hard to say how much it's gonna go for, because one needs to really like portraits. It's almost life size, and it was exhibited a lot. So I have absolutely no guess for this. I think the estimate is reasonable, and we're gonna conclude here. We have 3 works left. Somebody really needs to have this. If somebody really needs to have this iconic work, a triptych, the estimate is reasonable, but I'm not quite sure it's gonna reach its high estimate. And Reggie Burroughs Hodges, absolutely gorgeous paintings. It reminds me a little bit of a Rothko, this division of colors, very dramatic composition, very large painting. Was acquired by the present owner at the time in the same collection, and I have no idea of his market. I didn't check. I have no idea what it's gonna go for. And finishing with Robert Alice. I don't know very much about this artist, but this work is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this execution, very fine 24 karat gold. Also, this work is an NFT apparently, and I have absolutely no idea where it's going. And I think we are going now to conclude with all this. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next episode, and we will go through all these predictions and estimates when the auction is going to happen. And again, as you can see, the time is clicking, so this is a forecast. In 12 hours, these works will be auctioned, and we will see how my predictions were accurate. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.